Good evening. I'm Wonder Mike. I'd like to welcome you to a new edition of Wonder Mike's Unpopular Opinion. The target audience are those who choose to think outside of the masses, those who choose to think freely for themselves. And due to the subject matter and its nature, the mission statement will be incorporated in any content that's created by or sponsored by any persons or entity that's affiliated with Wonder Mike Enterprises. Every idea, thought, topic is what we truly believe and what we truly represent. The intent is not to miseducate nor educate, not to teach nor influence. Any mental construct that has been used to undermine free will given to us by the Most High we seek to abolish. Every single body that was made manifest in His image from spirit has a light within that shines on the gift He was given. Our intention is only to help people gain access to it, specifically the willing. Redefine it to redesign it. This is part one of a three-part series where I choose to bring forth a topic to present to you on words and how if you change how you use these words or change the definition that you give to these words, it could also change the reality that you live in. It could change the future that you want to have. It could change how you see things on a daily basis. Redefine, meaning the words to redesign life or your life. And today or tonight, I choose to bring forth the unpopular opinion of love. Is it a feeling or is it an emotion? To me, I feel that, you got to understand what feelings and emotions are. What are the points of origin for these words? What's the definition when you break it down? And I feel like with these terms, they big. These are terms we give a lot of power to. So it's like, I see it as a feeling, but some people may see it as an emotion. And right now, I choose to, I guess, see everything as more temporary or more one-sided, because if you give too much of something, it could, hurt you. It could affect you in a negative way. And if you give too less of something, it's the same thing. It's more polarity. So let's say, for instance, if you give too much love or show too much love on any scale, it would look like kind of deceptive, and that's really to who's perceiving it or the person that's giving it. If that's not what people see in their nature, love is to me is touchy. It's touchy more so because it's like a heavy thing, but it's still used like a disposable thing. Some people have, a lot of people, everybody, they have reasons for loving, or they have their own definitions of love. And some of these things are really based on shit that's really imaginary, to me. I feel like a lot of people create a grand design or a grand definition of what love should be based on things that, really are what they desire, even if it's outside of the realm of how they live or the realm of what they're used to seeing in their everyday life. I mean, it's wishful thinking at best. And, sometimes wishes don't come true, but circumstances do change. And sometimes you may have wished for it and it just happened in a way that, damn, I got exactly what I wished for. It's really on how you see it in that moment. But back to love and, how we see it or how some people use it. I say we and you as general statements because, I am you, you are me. No matter if it's positive or negative, I felt everything you felt. You felt what I felt or feel what I feel, vice versa. We're all connected by spirit. So when it comes down to, some people have malice intent. And really the things that people have been through are the building blocks for how they view things. So some people with the malice intent, they may use love as a chain or like a restriction or some kind of leverage over the people that they show it to, or that they say they love, or they say they're showing love to. I mean, it's a slight vanity when it's malice. And no matter on how you perceive it, or what percentage, 1% of malice, that's just as good as, like 99% of malice. Because, I mean, it presents a flaw. And it's a flaw that's usually undetectable, but at the same time, it's just like, some people can't see through. I mean, and that go back to the power we give love. Because malice could also be a person, if you love yourself with malice. How you love yourself with malice? I mean, you love yourself with malice by overindulging, by doing things that you really want right now. I mean, no direct thought path or train of thought when it come down to it, just bam, I do it. I mean, that's, it's kind of, we do that. We should love ourselves. But when it come down to a point of, overindulgence, or, risking yourself, your physical body because of a mental thing, it turns into a bad situation all the time. Too much of anything can kill you. Same as too less. I mean, it's polarity. And I say it's mental because I feel that people incorporate the heart with love because of shit like Valentine's Day. But at the same time, it's people that have died of broken hearts. I mean, an artery clog, or, some kind of problem that had been ongoing would just emerge. And that would be because their mind frames, it put them in a position to where they were more susceptible to things, for bad things to happen. Some people feel like when they're other, or they're significant, or anybody they love or hold reverence to, when they go, some people really cling on to not wanting to be here either. And we can't blame it on God or the universe. We can't blame it on nobody. It's a mental thing. I mean, some people say depression is a disease. And, I'm not a doctor. I won't speak on. But I just feel that really, when it comes down to a heart being associated with it, everything filters through the mind and through the 5 senses. So if you can touch it, taste it, hear it, feel it, smell it, just know that these senses govern our body, which is a physical manifestation of spirit. So when it comes down to spirit, that's really your gut feeling about something, whether it's bad or good. That's really that feeling of, I don't know, I don't know why I want to be in this situation, or with this person, or doing this thing, when it's an unexplainable, uncontrollable, almost as if it's an urge that you really can't fight. I feel like these things are manifested from spirit. But the spirit, your 5 senses govern your body, but it doesn't govern your spirit. You can't tell somebody honestly why you love them. Because if you did, that would present a question. That would present, a condition. Because therefore, if you truly love somebody, there's no way you can physically explain words. Words cannot tell. It's a song that only your heart and their heart can hear. You can just sing it with your heart. It's your spirit, your soul, and that's singing to another soul. You can't say, I love you because, anybody that tell you that they love you because of this, and this, man, leave them alone. Because these people, that's deception. Because, I mean, usually people are attracted. They say opposites attract. And in a sense, that's true, but more so it's not. Likeness keeps people connected. And it's the wonder, the thought, the idea, you just start to ponder. And, that's what brings the opposites around. I mean, and opposites only present, it's a reflection. Every person, every situation is a reflection of something that you have created in your mind or perceived at an early age, I feel. Because you see things. Sometimes you might see something and then you end up doing the same stuff later on in life. Like, dang, how? Why? And these are questions that really would soothe your understanding, which comes from the mind, but your spirit kind of has been programmed, to going through certain situations. So back to love. I mean, a lot of love when in relationships, I feel that the concept of love, or the thought of you loving somebody or somebody loving you, I feel like that's perverted by us humans, by our understanding or lack thereof. understanding only soothes our mind to make us comfortable. And true love that's real, I feel like the average mind couldn't grasp the concept because it's outside the realm of logic, how intense this thing is that really has no definition. And back to us defining or giving a specific grand idea of what love is. When we present definitions of words, yeah, we all read a dictionary at some point and we know, okay, cool. But we never, word for word, nobody remembers the whole definition. You kind of form your own definition of it based on the key aspects of it. And that's cool. But sometimes we cling to certain things within these words that we haven't seen the definition of, we haven't had to use. And that's where the lines blur. I promote emotional literacy. As well as you can read a book, I feel like you should be able to read the heart of you or the hearts of the people around you, and it should be open for them to read too, but it's only for the willing. And opening the heart is a shallow concept for the message I'm trying to bring forth. So if you can have your soul open and allow yourself to open your soul, the feeling should be around. Everybody should feel the same way. I mean, you should feel how it reciprocates, the reciprocation from everybody around you. And they should feel how you reciprocate back. And I feel like that's what raises the vibrations. But if we look at it truly, every letter has a sound. You're saying the ABCs, they all have a sound. And these are put together to make words. And these words are like a vibration in a sense. So if you got slight sounds that create vibrations when you say things, imagine what the sentences are. It's like we creating like wavelengths. You know what I mean? So understand, it's just certain frequencies that a lot of people can't operate on. And that's back to a dog whistle. That frequency a dog can hear. Or a duck whistle, anything, any animal. I mean, consider how it may sound like something to you, but it may sound a whole lot louder to another animal. So consider, when it comes down to these wavelengths and these vibrations, these frequencies that we're giving off, if we're unsure about the terms that we use when it comes down to defining the words that we allow to govern our mind and our feelings about things, consider that we may be giving out the wrong frequencies. We may be giving out the wrong vibrations, and it's not intentional. It's totally unintentional. We may be doing it unintentionally, and that's what makes my opinion unpopular, because it takes an open-hearted, open-minded person to understand that maybe I have been loving wrong. Maybe I haven't been receiving the type of love that I really desire. Maybe these two things happen because I really don't even know what love is. What is love to me? And you can go to the book and find a definition and then try to tie it into what you think love should be, but then always realize, you'll always come to find out that it never even lives up to that. But if you redefine what you see as love, redefine how you view it, then it can change and it can redesign how you see yourself giving it, how you see yourself receiving it. And I feel like when these things happen, that's when we start to give off the right frequencies, the right vibrations to the right people. Because we are connected. But understand, some are more so on the left than on the right. But if you happen to find people that's right in the middle with you or right on the left with you, it don't matter what side you on, if your vibration, your frequency is right, everything that's supposed to happen, everybody that's supposed to be around you will be. It's inevitable, because only the willing, we can never go against free will. Some people can love you, like you, hate you, anything. But at the same time, that energy that they're giving you, some people see it as one thing, some people see it as others. I mean, you can't necessarily say why a person feel this way or feel that way or how you make them feel. And that right there is the trickiness of it, because of how much power we give these words, how much emphasis we put on the way it should go or we should see it. Nah, it's not like that, I feel. So to furthermore speak on if love is a feeling or emotion, I don't have an answer for you. I can help you come up with an answer. And the process I like to use when coming up with any answer is breaking things down. So here are 10 terms in relation to that you could look into and look at how they're defined and how you could redefine them in order to change the vibration of the word and in order to redesign the reality of how you see these terms and how they can affect your natural reality in this life. So the first one is love, the second affection, the third emotion, the fourth passion, the fifth permanent, the sixth temporary, the seventh feeling, the eighth intimacy, the ninth is choice, and the 10th is decision. Now, the definition of these words, makeshift at best, but all based on fact. Love, an intense feeling of affection. Affection, a strong likeness or fondness to or of. Emotion, a natural state of mind in response to circumstance or perception. Passion, strong or barely containable urges or emotion. Permanent, unchangeable, everlasting. Temporary, to be or can be replaced eventually. Feeling, a temporary sensation, mostly influenced by touch. Intimacy, a familiarity that's close or a close friendship. And you have choice, the right to make a selection, usually involving one or more things or situations. Decision, conclusion reached after consideration. Any kind of consideration. Okay, so really to me, now that we have broken these words down, I look at what's in what category. And the categories I break it down to first is a real thin line between, choices and decisions. But based on the definitions, you can see that. But some people still have a gray area when it comes to choices and decisions. In essence, the difference between a choice and a decision is negligence. The negligence would be the choice. Yeah, just because you can choose don't mean you will or don't mean you have to. And the decision is you're thinking about the outcome and accepting whatever outcome, and you're making a decision or you're making a selection based on what you came up with after consideration. So the thought is there. It takes more presence to make a decision than to make a choice. So I look at these things as, temporary, permanent. Those would be that's what identifies a thin line between these two things. Okay, and temporary, of course, can be or will be replaced eventually. Permanent, unchangeable, everlasting. And really in this physical world, nothing is truly permanent. So we're going to speak on things that are as permanent as it could seem. And that would be emotion, passion, intimacy, and decisions. But all of these things except decisions go both ways. Because emotion, if it's affected by a circumstance and it's a natural state of mind, it's more organic. But it's more affected by a collective of what you see and what you think about things that affect your feelings. And, feelings are temporary. So if it's based on something that's temporary, which would be feelings about overall, then it could go both ways. But it could also be etched inside of you to always handle situations that same way. And that would kind of be more so like not necessarily a choice. It would kind of be a default. It's not really a decision either. It's just what you rely on. The frame of mind you rely on when it comes down to avoid or handle conflict, fight or flight. I think that's based on emotion. And the fight or flight is when you really, your heart pumping, adrenaline racing, what you're going to do. I think that you really don't have a choice or decision in that when it comes down to your emotional planning part. And that's what makes it a kind of permanent aspect, because it kind of stick with you until you choose to make a decision to deal with it. And the passion, of course, is if it's so uncontrollable, really something can turn you on and that same thing can turn you off. So that's why that will go both ways. And, intimacy is a strong fondness of, or a strong likeness. And when you stop liking something, or when you feel no longer, drawn to it, that can go both ways too. So, on whatever scale, on a large enough scale, they all turn into temporary things. Some just take longer than others, and some leave more of a mark on who you are, and that reflects on your soul more so than your mind. It's etched in your mind so much that you kind of gave it a feeling, gave it a process, gave it a thought. You kind of can make it happen through other people. And that's how it affects your soul, because you etch it there with your mind. But the temporary things, of course, love, affection, feeling, and choices. And that's simple. I mean, love, the reason why love is a temporary thing, and it can go both ways too as a permanent thing, but it's really how your intent set up. And your intent is how you're feeling when you're projecting and what you think. Are you putting forth more than just, I can say it, more than just voice, more than just thought? And people use this word like it's nothing. And that's what makes it a temporary thing in common culture. Affection. I mean, that's another thing, affection. I mean, people, they kind of get affection and intimacy mixed up. I mean, and it's not the same thing. I mean, it's not the same thing at all. I mean, because one has a stronger base. Affection is just, you make me feel a certain way. But intimacy is more so we're both present in this feeling, this time, this moment. And, you know, we have a lot of gray areas as people, and we use all these words, and we really have great definitions. Of course, a choice, just because you can make a decision. Some people choose not to make a decision. So a choice could be temporary. You can choose to do the same thing every day until it starts to hurt you. Now you decide I can't do it no more, because you see how that choice, it kind of evolved into a decision. A lot of these things evolve into other things. But at the same time, when it comes down to is love a feeling or an emotion, ask yourself, do you choose to love or you decide to love? Is it temporary, the feeling you have, or is it permanent? Have you even decided what is temporary, what is permanent, what is real, what is unreal? I present this concept to you, and this is one of MIIKE's unpopular opinion.